Hello and welcome to a series of interviews on the lead up to Tilt and Tap. My name's Mr. Cookie. You might not be able to tell by the JPEG next to us, but we're joined by a real value community member here today. It's Gondola. How you doing, mate?
Hi, I'm coping. I'm all right. I'm doing okay. I'm alive.
just for a bit of context before this, off camera we were just talking a little bit, and Gondola was like, um, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get a camera set up. Sorry, I hope that's no bother." I said, "Hey, mate, don't worry about it. It's fine. Do you have like a profile picture or a JPEG that you want to use specifically?" He was like, "Yes, I want to use this because this is exactly
I
how I feel."
It is. I dug into the. It took me like 10 seconds to find because I went into the SF6 like Ed Discord, ignored all the sort of Whales of Agony, and scrolled up to like the old 5 art section, and found it. Yeah, that kind of sums it up regarding the patch. But I guess that's not all there is to it. I'm still, active, still looking forward to playing all that stuff.
Hey, we still got time. I mean, like, I mean Ken as well. So like,
Hmm.
I've got a few grumbles, but like, we'll get to
Well. Hang on, hang on. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
this guy's bitter. I love it. I just wanted to start off, like, for, for the very few people who go to a local and have not had this guy attend their local, just for,
Okay.
just for a bit of context as well. How is it that you kind of got into like the competitive fighting scene, like from the early days as well? How is it that you kind of introduced yourself into like the wider competitive scene?
Sure. Like so many UKFGC people, I'm a bit of a Smash Ult refugee who
Mm,
sort of had enough of that back in the day and decided to hop onto a better ship. Well, arguably, um, it was around 2018, 19 when Ult first came out.
mm,
Started playing that. I started playing JoJo's on Fightcade,
mm,
and the reason I play with my if anyone who's met me, you will have seen it. This sort of weird levelers with a bunch of buttons. It's because I started on keyboard, and the
mm.
default controls there were arrow keys. So I play fighting games Southpaw. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with JoJo's and Smash at the time. The COVID lockdown started. I played a bit of Plus R with the whole rollback test thing. Messed around in Street Fighter 5, 6, Tekken 7, Guilty Gear, whatever. When Strive came, that's when I really jumped ship. As sort of COVID restrictions lightened, I started going to like Smash events. Shout out to so many people, but the Nottingham scene, the Midland scene,
Mm.
doesn't play anymore. But if you remember Claw, Aaron, the
I know Claw, yeah, I
England,
remember Claw from back in the
yeah,
day.
Claw grew up super close to where I am, so we traveled to tournaments a decent bit together. Um, and then yeah, Strive happened, and during that I got involved with UFG and ZBI, who's a group I owe so much to. And yeah, over time, I didn't like a Strive patch, so I tried Street Fighter 5. Really enjoyed that.
Mm.
Street Fighter 6 came out. That's still my main game. I just love fighting games. You mentioned I go to a lot of locals. Even if I can do it just once, there's something so just enrapturing and magic about being at a local. There's nothing beats it. If you're listening to this and you haven't been to one, go to one. Sell your house, mortgage everything, get rid of the kids' college fund. I don't care. Go to a local, please, no matter what. It's the best.
This guy's just the definition of support your local as well. And like, I kind of know what you mean as well. As like, I wouldn't say I'm a Smash player now because I don't tend to play the game for fun. I mean, it's
Mm,
at Wolves. It is still like the
yeah,
most popular bracket at Wolves, and like I'm just kind of done with it. Like I'm not a person who's
yeah,
like, oh god, the oh dead game or everything like that, or oh what you're
exactly.
still playing Smash. I'm just like, I've had my fun with it, and I would just rather go on to new things as well. And
Absolutely, yeah.
like I kind of like that you mentioned you tried a bunch of games and then Strive hit, because I like to think of, when if Smash is like your first fighting game, you can
Yeah.
kind of think, okay, well, here's all of these other, assuming you just don't go to Rivals or like another platform fighter or Melee
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that, and you sit there and think, right, okay, here's all of these other offerings, and then there's like, I like to call finding the fun, which is
Mm.
you might think, okay, I'm going to understand, these are the tag fighters, these are the dashies, these are the traditional fighters, like I call them 2D fighters, your Street
Hmm.
Fighters, your
Yeah,
City of
yeah,
the Wolves, etc., etc. Are you going to be into a 3D fighter? Are you going to go into Tekken
yeah.
as well? And you understand which is more popular in your region. And it's just the case of what clicks.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What game fits
Um,
like a glove. I mean, like I've personally been playing a lot more Street Fighter 6 because like it's probably some people would, I mean, you would probably say specifically for you it's not the best, but like it's in a fine overall
I
state as well.
look, I am being a bit dramatic and over the top. I will say Street Fighter 6, regardless of how much people complain, I love this game. I think it's an amazingly balanced game
Mm,
overall. People don't appreciate quite like how good they have it when it comes to having a game that you can kind of just play anyone and do decent with. And the people who complain the most, I think, are people who it kind of doesn't matter for. No offense, but end of the day, it's not like your character holding you back if you're in, you know, 1300 MR and
mm.
you're like rage quitting on everyone. It's probably not the patch that's made you that way, if you get what I mean.
Because like I mean, we can kind of go into a few more like specific things about this, but like having Ken be an unchecked menace for like 2 seasons and like having a
Hmm.
few of his like more egregious moves kind of nerfed a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was chatting to like a few other people earlier as well. His Ken not being as good with throw loops. I think his throws in corners set you back far enough to where crouching medium and standing heavy don't instantly connect afterwards. You're a little
Right.
bit further away. I could
Hmm.
be I could be wrong on this. I
Right.
don't
I,
mind
to
that
be honest, I'm
because
not sure.
simply put, I'm not good enough to the point where it makes a difference. So
I
like
get that.
I want to maybe hit platinum or diamond or whatever, but like I'm a bit more casual when it comes to Street Fighter as opposed to some
Yeah.
other games. And like I'm not gonna sit there and really really moan because I'm lacking in knowledge and experience. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter what they do to my character as well. I'm not quite there enough. And like you said, some people will just kind of grumble and moan and all that stuff, but like, look, dude, Tekken's in a fucking way worse state. And like, so like any kind of stuff, I mean, the fact that like season 3 came out for 6 and it was like fine. So I was thinking, is this going to be the thing that breaks the FGC's back? Is it just like, oh great, everything sucks now, everything's bad. Literally, I think that and them adding ISO speed or KSI to Fatal Fury, that might
Oh
just be
my
the end of
god.
it. And
Let's let's hope not.
there's not a 0% chance that's going to happen.
No, it's that or like a K-pop star or something, another musical guest.
They'll put
We'll see, we'll see.
Hatsune Miku in it or something at this point. I don't know.
Yo, okay, don't try selling it. Okay, we'll see, we'll see.
So
But yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, I think I'm in exactly the same boat, just I guess in a different bit of the water because I also think that the bits that are taken away are annoying, and I think it makes it less fun to play, etc., etc. But if I'm losing games, it's not really the reason. I do still have areas to improve in.
it's a real honest way of looking at things because like you mentioned that like you're not happy with how Ed is doing as well, and like the way that I see it is that someone's going to draw short no matter
Yeah,
what. And
yeah.
either some people draw up the short straw, or you end up with like the most recent patch of Fighter Z where the game's just goof mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where it's just
yeah,
like,
exactly.
hang on a sec, everyone's really good, but also like the game's just a bit like sicko mode right now. Like, what do you do?
For
Um,
sure.
what are some of the more like prominent events that you've been to? Some of the events that like really really stick with you, like be it
Ooh,
locals, regionals, majors, out regionals, etc.
plenty, plenty. I mean, that's really difficult. I think the most recent event I've been to that's on like a larger scale would be IGM, and that
Okay.
was the spring one. I ended up coming, I want to say seventh. It's my first top eight at like an event of that size on like an international stage as well.
Oh really?
And
Damn.
yeah, I was really proud of it. There were some hiccups along the way, some matches perhaps I shouldn't have won, but I did, and we take those.
You take them. You
Um,
take them. It's just like
exactly,
okay.
exactly.
I always
Um,
I always love those matches where it's just like I'm not sure I should have won, but I don't think you won. You know, like
Yeah.
as in, yeah, I love that. I love that sort of stuff.
Mm. But yeah, like it was really great meeting people. In terms of like, I met someone, for example, that I've played a lot in online events. Karma from
Mm,
the Irish scene runs a lot of cool stuff with the Karma Cup and stuff like that. And meeting someone like that who I've known for a good year or so and played a bunch offline is always a great feeling. That's one of my favorite bits about offline tournaments.
mm,
There's like locals wise, I've been all over the place. There's the Nottingham one, which was my local. There's the West Midlands stuff. There's Warsaw, there's Wolves, there's sometimes Birmingham stuff. There was Leicester. Down in London, you've got the Meltdown stuff. You've got
mm.
Winner Stays On. You've got oh my god, there's too much to count. Sodium Showdown. Well, that's the main event. Sorry. Wasteman Weeklies in Bristol.
Is that actually
Everywhere.
the name? Is that actually called that is the best name I have ever heard
Yes,
for a
yes.
event ever.
Wasteman Weeklies. And in terms of like bigger events, there's obviously VSF,
Mm,
star-studded, biggest. If you haven't gone to it, go please. I'm begging you. Absolutely amazing time. Similarly for UFA, also amazing. Um, yeah, just in general. But the big events are amazing. Like I can't wait for Evo this year. I'm
mm.
definitely planning to go. UFA. I've not done mix up yet, and I've not done OTB. Those are two I'd really love to do. Um, but we'll see. But what I will say is the focus is usually on the big events, as it should be. But some of the best memories come from the small ones. They come from the one where you turn up and have some pint you've never heard of, and go 0-2 and have a fun time with your friends. And also the one where you lock in and somehow you manage to pull out a win. I've not got my box with me here, but since it's made of wood, I use my keys and put like a little tally
Mm-hmm.
every time I win an offline. I think I'm on 6 now, and every single time I've scratched a tally into that controller, I will not forget. It's a great time.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I'll see if I can throw up a JPEG of your controller like later on in in the
Oh,
edit
for sure, for sure.
in the edit stage and all that. But I I'm glad that you finally mentioned that like how you play like as if you're using the not the WASD keys but the directional keys
Hmm.
because I look at your controller whenever you like we're at a local and I just look
Yeah.
confused. You know what I mean? Like as in
That
like
makes sense.
I show
Honestly, yeah.
I show my friends the lever list that I've got and
Yeah.
they're a little bit confused because they think like why does it look why do you use all of your like fingers on the
Yeah.
left hand side and you explain the space bar the big 30mm button is meant to emulate a space bar so like it's easier for
Yeah.
your thumb to just do it and you got obviously your hand positions everywhere as well
Hmm.
but I don't know how you play with yours but also like I fucking love custom controllers. I mean
Oh, absolutely.
anyone who's like known me over the last year I just had the obsession of like building.
I mean, you've got the briefcase, in it. Like, it's so cool.
I wish
Yeah, I
like
mean, like, sort of personal expression and creativity are such a part of fighting games in and out the game.
mm,
Like the way you play, the style, like the combo routing you choose, as well as like the way you present yourself at
mm.
tournaments, the type of controller you use, the way you've like customized it. All of that stuff is part of that creativity. And yeah, I always love to see people with wacky controllers.
I think like I'm really glad you mentioned like the way that you express yourself as well because I have always said the best combat systems in any games are ones that allow you to express yourself as well. And like
Mm.
yes, there are optimized ways of doing so. And I'm talking just a little bit of tangent of like two of my
Oh no,
favorite
it's go for it.
two of my favorite ever combat systems are Sekiro and Kingdom Hearts
Mm.
2. And
Right, yeah.
there is an objective right way to play them, but you are given enough tools to muck around a little bit as well. And yeah, there are 100% optimal ways to play infighting games, which is there's no doubt about it as well. If you're not using your level twos at certain scenarios, you're throwing damage on the table as well. But I feel like
Yeah.
and that is one thing that is really enjoyable about Street Fighter to me is this is coming from a guy who's played Tekken more than Street Fighter. The
Mm.
moves are obviously significantly decreased, but there is no move I think that is truly useless aside from Zangief's like.
Yeah. There's always going to be a niche application for the majority of moves,
Mm,
and if there isn't one, some weirdo labber online will find one, and then you can incorporate that. You mentioned level twos, funnily enough.
mm-hmm.
That sort of philosophy you have about stuff like KH and Sekiro, and that about how yes, there's an optimal way, but there's so many other ways. That's part of what I love about Ed as a character. Ed as a character, like people for some reason think that Street Fighter 6 isn't an expressive game, and I don't think I could disagree more. And Ed specifically, I think, level twos, you've got your optimal, you've got your dream combo, whatever. Right. Quick PSA. The dream combo is not like a B&B. I have so many times when commentators or people like watching a game will be like, "Oh my god, why do you not do the dream combo?" You're not going to do it every single time unless you're capable, which some people are, don't get me wrong, but it's not the default, I promise. Anyhow, stuff like that. Stuff like weird juggles. Like I've got there's a clip somewhere of me doing one where I do the fireball slowly,
Mm.
do the charged up punch. I think the first time I landed it in bracket was against you, actually. I think in
Yeah. Okay, go on.
but yeah, like silly little weird combos, like different Oki options. I love Ed to bits, and a large part of that, within the context of Street Fighter 6, is how creative you can be with him.
I think like I mean, when I feel kind of cursed a little bit because like when I picked up Tekken, like I just thought again finding your main. Like I'm a guy that doesn't like to mess around with every single character. I like to
Oh, I
just
agree. Yeah,
I like to just think, okay, who looks cool? Do I understand? Like, in my head, does this make sense? And then
yeah,
do I move forward with them? And I've just got a habit of picking like really toxic characters. Like I went into these games blind as well because I picked like every
yeah.
ex Smash player. I picked fucking King, and it's like, oh great, here he comes. And I've always just liked Ken anyway. Like just visually, I think he's really cool. I really like
He's sick. Yeah.
yeah, I really like fire effects as well. I'm a big sucker for that sort of stuff.
Mm.
So I just picked Ken and thought, oh okay, fine. And to me, like from a newcoming perspective, it's better to just understand how this character plays rather than falling into the trap of, okay, I'm new. What are the combos? Like, no,
Yes,
you
yes,
don't. You
yes.
don't do that. You understand your character's options, their moves, and a little bit of data here and there. And then once you know that, you can go ahead and then learn your B and Bs. Maybe
Absolutely. Yeah,
just
you get that foundation and build on it. Yeah.
yeah. You don't just instantly say, all right, standing medium, then heavy, then drive rush into heavy, then DP. But doesn't mean shit if you're never going to land it. It's
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
irrelevant.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a sort of chicken and egg process that for me has changed a bit over the years. When you mentioned like, seeing like flame effects or like the aesthetics of a character, the story of a character even.
Mm,
Like, for the longest time I do tend to gravitate towards characters that I like as characters,
mm.
story wise, as well as design wise. And like I played for a good 2 years, Simon Belmont in Alt, who
Oh, dude, why?
because I really liked Castlevania when I was little. That's literally the only reason.
But he's
And
so
but
bad. Like,
I know,
there is
but it's
precisely
so cool when it does work.
one cool thing that a Belmont has ever done in a major. It was down
The
airing a
shoot
pick.
on,
It was
yeah, we know
down airing a Pikmin, and that's it. Like that is the thing. That is the little gram of sauce that character has, and then that's it.
for
Like
sure.
there's a
Mm,
I don't know if you speak to Dan Dizzle much, but like uh, Dan's kind of a bit like me, where like we might enter an alt bracket every now and again, but it's not what
yeah,
we enjoy playing. We muck around with friends and all that stuff. And
for sure,
he started like saying, "Oh yeah, I like playing as Belmonts, but fuck me, am I not doing them seriously?" Like you said, like they are so. I mean, I kind of respect the level of commitment they went with.
the character loyalty they require is insane. But yeah, like on that topic, over the years, the way I pick characters has kind of shifted away from that in a way. It
Mm,
still is there underlying, but if we look at characters I've played in like, I don't know, who did I play? Like in Plus R, I had like Zappa, I had I think Slayer at first. I had Axel at first in Strive, then Soul, and I played like a bit of a gorilla for a while. I have a reputation in Strive still. Um, People who see me play nowadays will realize I don't DP quite as much as I used to. It
mm,
used to be a bit of a thing, but as I've played more and more and more and more, I've started to, because I understand fighting games better, I
Mm.
understand characters better, and I understand which characters I like based on sort of what they can provide for me mechanically.
Mhm.
Ask
Mhm.
me 2 or 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been like, I like zoners or grapplers or shotos or whatever. Over the years, I've learned the type of tools because I've played, dozens and dozens and dozens of different characters and dozens of games.
Mm.
I've realized what works with me, but also I'm aware that that's not intrinsic or set in stone. If there's something I'm not good at, I can get good at it. Um, and that's definitely been the case with the increase in my patience when it comes to playing in general, and Ed has helped me do that because
Mm.
that's kind of what he's geared towards.
What are your sort of like longer term goals as well? Because we're approaching halfway through the year as well. We still got all of 2025, and we talked a bit about how you've kind of grown as a player, like throughout like attending all these various events and such. Where do you kind of see your play going over the remainder of the year, and what kind of goals have you set yourself?
Remainder of the year, let's see. I have some text, some sort of ideas. I know I've made quite a lot of notes, and I have quite a lot of stuff sort of collated, I guess, from different sources, different
Mm.
guides, different videos, all this stuff. And I do have like a series of things for my current quote unquote training arc, I guess, with Ed. But to be honest, I've really been neglecting it. Um for for the places I want to go, I can't really be being this complacent at the moment. So the plan is by the end of the year to, or maybe even earlier, to be honest,
Mm.
complete this quote unquote training arc, and essentially get to a point where I feel like I, you can't know everything about a character, but like to not have any obvious things that I can't do, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to have any obvious gaps in my knowledge. For example, my ability to do level 2 combos is pretty limited. Now, a lot of ends online are great at level 2 combos and just about nothing else. But, my neutral's got a lot better. My ability to do okay, just everything in general has got better. My mental, in fact, and I think I can attribute that to going to so many offlanes.
Mm.
That absolutely helps, and that still needs work. So yeah, get to the end of the Ed training arc is the sort of long term in the sense of the year. Long term though. Oh god, it's I want to be a top player. I want to win big tournaments. I want to be an Evo champion of some kind. I want to be the best at a fighting game. It doesn't have to be Street Fighter. It doesn't have to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years. But I am genuinely, unabashedly, unironically aiming at the top in some way. Whatever way that presents itself, we'll see. But at the moment, I feel like clinging on to the idea of, slow and steady realism and blah 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 doesn't really appeal to me. I want to be a bit mental and aim really high,
Just go for it.
and
Mm.
that's absolutely, and that's been a big motivator. And I mean, so far the results have definitely shown.
Mm.
The way people tend to have this sort of, what's it called? The Dunning Kruger, where you like know more and realize how little you know and stuff like that.
It's the is
That
it
definitely,
it's the graph, isn't it? Where it's like you've
yeah,
improved, but you feel like you haven't. Like when
yeah,
you're brand new, you think, "Oh, I'm not bad," and then you get bodied for a bit, and it's like, "Oh, hang on, no, I'm shit." But like
yep.
factually speaking, you are better than you were previously.
Hmm. And that
You're encountering difficulties that just didn't
exactly.
exist a few ranks ago or a few events ago.
Yeah, and you come to the other side of that sort of that ditch. The thing people don't realize is that puts you back at the start just a bit higher up. It just sort of happens again and again and again. And there's also that sort of, can't think of the name, but there's the sort of idea that like XP in a game,
Mm,
that when you've been doing stuff for longer, the gains are sort of limited, like diminishing returns.
exactly.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I've found, for me in particular, it kind of hasn't been. Maybe it will be in the future, but because of the way I've learned how to learn and the way I've changed my mentality around fighting games, and I don't really know how to explain it properly, but I feel like my growth in the last year, say, has been significantly more than the 4 years before that,
Mm.
just because of the like intent, I guess, behind the way I approach things now.
It kind of levels up a bit like that. And I was going to ask you as well. Like we talked a bit about characters here and there as well, and we know the rest of season three,
Mm.
how that's going to look. I'm personally really looking forward to seeing what Alex is going to be like.
I think it'd be cool, yeah.
I really like that. Are there any like returning characters that you'd really love to see come back in like season four?
Yeah, definitely. So the reason I played it in the first place is because when I first started playing SF5 while taking time off from Strive, I picked up Balrog and I really enjoyed playing him.
Mm,
And um, lore-wise, I enjoyed him as well. His character in the like arcade mode, story mode, or whatever in 5 is genuinely really interesting, and also it's very fun to sort of just belligerently punch people. And those leaks came out
mm,
right before Street Fighter 6 was going to come out of what characters are going to be. It was the whole I think it was the first year of DLC
mm-hmm.
and the full cast. And who's not there? Balrog. So I'm like, okay, huh. Who should I play in 5 to get ready for this? Wait, his son's there. Let me try out Ed. And then in SF5 I also really liked Ed. So to have Balrog back and I can have the sort of dual mains, the primary secondary of that father son duo
Mm.
would be very fun, I think. So I definitely want Balrog. Other than that, not particularly. Like in terms of my favorite Street Fighter characters, I love Balrog and Ed. I love Ryu. I promise I'm not saying it because of the patch, but if you see me playing him, just know I ken that man. I've always loved him. Okay, and you can't say otherwise. If I play him, it's nothing to do with where he is on the tier list. I promise. You can't see it because I'm not on camera, but I'm winking.
Oh yeah.
Um, I do genuinely love Ryu though, and Balrog. So I don't really have any particular like returning characters. I do want them to ease up on guest characters, which they have this time around. And I would like
Yeah.
a original character. It's been so long since what Aki? Is that the only one?
Well, I'm not the
Aki.
best when it comes to this. I mean, like, I kind of agree with you on the guest character bit. I mean, it's a corporate handshake, isn't it, between
No,
SNK
of
and
course,
Capcom,
yeah.
isn't it, as well? It's like, okay, you could have Mai and you know, you could have Mai and
Terry.
Terry, and then we'll obviously get Chun Li and Ken, which seems I
It's kind of yeah. It's Chun-Li and Ken. Yeah.
don't know why it's not
Um.
don't know why it's not Ryu, but like I understand that and I get that as well. It's
Yeah.
clearly a decision that was made at that level. I mean, I
It
I,
makes sense. It makes sense.
I wouldn't mind Vega coming back, but like I've noticed the pattern so far is that there's been a direct antagonist that's
Mm.
dropped. Obviously we had was
Akuma, Sagat,
yeah,
Bison. Yeah.
yeah. So like how many more Shadowloo members are there? Because we've got Vega.
Vega and Balrog. That's
Yeah, it's
it,
those two.
really.
So like I think that they'll probably space them out over season
That
four
would
and
make
five.
sense.
It just
Yeah,
makes sense,
yeah.
doesn't it? I've always liked Vega's design as a character as well. I think he's fantastic as well. People are obviously clamoring for like Dudley to come back as well. There's a few people who
Mm.
really want Seth to. Um,
Interesting. I think like one character. Okay, do you know who Bosch is?
no, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, he's your rival in World Tour.
Oh,
Well, when you're
okay.
playing as John Street Fighter, he's the one
Oh
with
my
the Shadow
god.
the Hedgehog hair. I think it'd be fun. But there's not been an original character since Aki. I think it'd be silly to give us the Mr. World Tour villain as a playable character, or just someone new. To be honest, I know people really want well, because Metro City, right? Is it what's the original game called? Is it
Mate,
fighting
I'm being
something?
I'm I'm
Fatal
being
Fight?
I'm
Fatal.
being perfectly honest with you. The only thing
Uh,
that I did in World Tour was make the most gremlin ass character
as you
like
do, as you
ever.
do.
Like I will try and fight if I've got enough energy, I'll put him up on screen right now. He's the most hideous thing I have ever seen.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh god, but like I
It's fun to see your freaky character in like in a cutscene that's meant to be like serious or funny or whatever,
he's
and you're
got
just
like
there.
I'll send him you later as well,
Awesome,
but man.
awesome. But
Uh,
yeah, like yeah, I don't know. I just want someone new,
mm.
like completely new,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
want to see
like
what they've
like
got.
brand new as well. Here's a new
Exactly. Yeah.
entry as well. You know, we all can't have like Sakura come in as well, but I get that.
Oh yeah, I was about to say people really want Cody because he's also
General
from
vibe.
Metro.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Of course they do, won't they?
Yeah. See, everyone, people decently like them. Well, because what's it? Poison and Cody are the two that come. Oh, and Lucia, but I think Cody is a popular request. Um, do you have any predictions for what they'll do? Like, not just what you want, but what do you reckon they're going for? Aside from the obvious picks of Vega and Balrog.
I mean, I want this more so for the people who still like Capcom have to be aware that Third Strike is still
Yeah,
unbelievably
true,
relevant. You know what I mean?
true.
And
Yeah,
like outside of just getting your standard Alex back because like he's the actual
the poster boy.
he
Yeah,
was meant to be the poster boy of the game before people were like, yeah, this game's great, but where's Ryu and Ken?
yeah.
I'd love them to touch more into like that element of the roster because
Mm.
it's just it's a lot of breadth of characters that just haven't really been used, and it kind of feels like
Grown up Sean would. Oh my heart! I need grown up Sean. I think that would be so cool.
you know what I mean, like as in we've had like so many other. I mean, this is always the thing. Someone's going to get left behind at some point as well.
Yes,
Like, and
yes.
there's always it's like the problem with when Heihachi wasn't brought back at the start of
Mm.
Tekken 8, and it's like, oh shit, I don't have my main. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
mained Heihachi for the last 20 years. He's just not in the game. So you put in
Yep.
substitute characters. You put in, all right, we're going to put Rainer in as well, and we're going to give Kuma
Mm.
electrics. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I respect that, but also you kind of just have to break away from these things as well. I think that a lot of the designs in 6 look fantastic, and
I agree. Yeah.
obviously Capcom are going to do their thing and just we'll sell you the classic costumes, and it's
Mm.
like,
Well, that's the thing. Like, the recent, I don't know if you've seen it. The recent sort of Twitter discourse of the week
mm-hmm.
has been around the World Warriors and how like they're this sort of sacred cow, but maybe Capcom shouldn't keep them. I don't think I like. I think. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know if you can coast just off being iconic. So was your Honda, your Blanca, your Geef, your Sim, but I don't really see a reason to get rid of them. Like they're iconic for a reason, and yeah, I'm pro World Warriors. I think they should stay. I mean they are staying regardless. I will say that the fact that like I don't know if you've seen the recent like crossover ventures with like Overwatch and stuff like that,
Mm.
and all the merch they're making. It doesn't look like they're advertising Street Fighter 6. It looks like they're advertising Street Fighter 2
I think like
because there's not a single 6 character there.
I this metaphor comes up every now and again when the discussion of Smash 6 comes out, as in
Right.
how do you cut the roster? And
Mm.
because I would rather have a new game than Ultimate Deluxe, for example. And
That's the
like
thing. But it.
I think that personally speaking, when it comes to like because Ultimate's roster is so impossibly big, and like
Yeah.
I personally don't think they're going to do a roster as big as that. I think every character up to Melee is safe, and like
Yeah, that's true.
that's how I see the World Warriors. That's how I see like everything up to 2. Like you shouldn't really touch that as well, because like
I get that.
if you had to, I mean, not that the wider populace would understand. Like I'm talking just your person walking down the street. But if you had to
Yeah.
ask people, name 10 Street Fighter characters, Ryu and Ken
The
and Chun
green
Li,
guy, the sumo guy,
exactly. Or
the
if
long
you
stretchy man, yeah.
exactly if you said, people would know. Oh, I know Dulcim, or I know Blanca, I know Zangief, I know Cammy. But even if even with Cammy's new design, for example, you could be like, "Who's this?" And someone who hasn't touched the game in 20 years could go, "That looks like Cammy from Street Fighter."
Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah.
like, because it was like the best-selling fighting game for a reason, not just the fact it had like fucking 7 different versions they sold every year. Right?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to call it that. But like, dude,
Oh, for sure.
it's been lovely chatting with you, bud. Like,
Oh,
really
definitely.
enjoyed this
I'm
as
so
well.
excited to play. I need to get practicing again to be ready. I'm excited.
Have you got anything that you want to say to like the people who'll be watching this clip? Anybody who's going to be attending Tilt and Tap or anything like that?
Yeah, if you're new, don't be afraid to say hi or ask for games or whatever. I know I saw some people on the Start GG who who I am familiar with from Smash, but I don't think I've seen playing traditional fighting games as much. So good on you. If you're seeing this and you're a Smash player and haven't tried other fighting games, do it. If you've not tried fighting games in general, do it. Just TLDR, play fighting games, please.
Support your locals too,
Um,
obviously, for obvious
support
reasons.
your fucking locals.
Alright, been
Yeah.
lovely talking to you, bud. See you in a bit.
Likewise. Take care. Thank you.